Can you hear me now? Is it working any better just yet? Hello, everybody. Hello? Is there a freak here? It's back, they say. Oh,
Outstanding.
it happened to randomly start working. All right, we are back. Hello, everyone.
And they're on the move.
Okay, well, let me...
I don't know if folks heard it. I was making a comment about Ash. Ash has a particular axe to grind against the Noxian champions and the Noxian element, mainly because with the foundation of Freljord, that actually stopped the Noxian advance into her homeland. And with her now basically being the queen of Freljord, I think she has a lot to prove in this particular match.
Yes, and congratulations, of course, to both Ash and Tryndamere.
Yes, the new king and queen of Freljord.
Yes, absolutely. So right now we're seeing the summoners basically take their, as we call them casually, lanes on this map. Different teams actually choosing different strategies. We see that the Ionian team is actually splitting up quite a lot. They're actually looking these lines of sight. If we turn off some of the sight modifiers here, we see that the Noxian team doesn't actually see much of the map. They're actually all grouped up together. Scion will be taking over this ancient golem camp, which spawns in about 30 seconds.
I wonder what their strategy is in doing something like that.
So they're playing much more of a passive game. Edwy is their, as we call him, jungler, who will be running through the forest, the jungle, killing various monsters. And they're simply holding the rest of their team to protect a very common avenue of entrance. If they came from up here through this area, Scion would see him and would be able to run away. And if they came through the other common entrance, the entire team was there watching that, and they could escape as well.
Interesting.
On the other side, though, we see that the Ionian team, they have scouts set up across the map. Kennan's over here. They had Udyr coming towards the back. They had Ash camping in this brush, so they could see all the common inlets of the jungle at all, but weren't actually ready to prepared to defend themselves if something actually happened. They could just see it and retreat. So a little bit of a different playstyle right off at the bat. Grouping up versus vision, basically. So the top of the lane are two of the main mages for each team. Vladimir, the Noxian mage, is as some would call him, a blood mage, is
a hemomancer.
Hemomancer.
Yes.
My apologies.
That's all right.
I'm not one who knows many definitions. I just call it as I see it. But certainly he's good at healing himself. He does a lot of damage. Actually, uses his own health as fuel for his abilities. So the bans for each team, there's one ban given to each team, and the bans were Rammus, which was banned out from under the Noxian team, and Shen was banned away from the Ionians. And so both teams actually banned out tanks who could also jungle, which was seemed to be a very hot topic between them. When you're given very few champions, there's only so many champions that do multiple things at once. Oftentimes you just have just a tank or just a jungler, and those were champions that served multiple roles very, very well, and they're very common to ban in a sort of limited champion environment, as when you only pick champions from your side or your own mercenaries. These multi-purpose champions are you're very wise to get rid of them to limit your opponent's choices more. So, for example, the Noxian team running jungle Scion is very, very rare. We don't see that very often. Certainly powerful. We can see Edwy is doing a very good job with his Scion, but is not something that we would normally see when summoners are given a free-for-all over any champion play.
Do you think that sort of unique strategy would prove to be maybe the hinge point that turns things into Noxus' favor?
I think it's valuable. Having a jungler at all is certainly very wise, but Ionia has a great bit of power in that Udyr is actually a common sort of jungler choice as well. And so they don't really feel hindered by this. This is very standard to see how summoners play this way, and so I think they feel a little bit powerful that way. They're like, yes, we get jungle Udyr. He's sort of used to this. Our summoners are used to playing Udyr in this manner, whereas Scion is normally a laning champion, and so experience actually is a little bit in Ionia's favor right now. So we're just seeing the sort of lane assignments at the bottom lane. We have Morgana and Singed playing together at the bottom. Against Amumu and Soraka. This is kind of interesting that we have like support plus tank versus support plus tank. The sort of traditional roles for these champions are actually to basically help the other half of the team do their jobs better. As Friend would do with Sin, she would generally initiate a team fight and position someone out of the way with Fling, and that would allow someone like Misfortune or Vladimir to have an easier time fighting. It really wouldn't be Singed that would be winning the game for his team, but would enable other champions to do so. These sort of roles are different between these champions. It's very interesting to see how well they'll do that action.
Noxus seems to be applying a lot of pressure early on to Ionia in that bottom lane as well. I wonder if that momentum will continue.
Oh, we almost had a small gank from Jungle Cyan, who actually ran towards the bottom of the map and found that there was nothing really available for him to fight, so he simply wards Dragon and continues on towards the middle of the map, and this could be very dangerous. Oh, Ash does not have boots. Edwy has charged up his shield. Here he comes. There's the Ghost, and here comes the Cryptic Gaze, and no, Ash will dodge that with Flash. Very good job by his summoner. Popping that Flash spell, but still Edwy running up with his shield, going to break that in the face of Frost, doing a little bit of damage there. Frost taking some damage. Some nice play there from both players. A little bit of damage there. Good dodge on the other side. We can hear the rabble of the street downstairs.
Indeed.
I don't know if you can hear them.
The taverns are filled as League Physiopathic Services are providing live coverage of this monumental event.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, a lot of interesting things are going to happen here. Now, we actually had a question from the audience. They had asked who won the last time these two city-states fought in an official battle.
It was actually a rather short event as Noxus crushed Ionia handily. In fact, the event took so short of amount of time. There was some talk of there being some sort of deal making through the political halls. Let me
interrupt you real quick. As Morgana lands the Dark Binding onto Udyr. Udyr's getting taken down, and where Ken's trying to get in there to fling. Garzababa is still putting damage off onto Cyan. Cyan is now being forced to retreat, but there's the Turtle Shell, and Garzababa will be getting away. New Illusions with a Mumu running with the rest of his team. There's another Dark Binding. It will not hit anything though, and there's the flash from Soraka. Yeah, 4-on-3,
wow.
and
no one died. No one died. Impressive.
The Ionian champion's barely getting away.
It seems like Ionia has learned the lessons from their previous attempt here, and they're not taking Noxus for granted at all.
Absolutely. So, sorry, continue about the last match. It was very short.
Certainly. So it was very short, and Noxus handily crushed Ionia. Of particular note, Soraka has a lot to prove in this particular match, where a number of people well versed in the tactics of the battle arenas felt Soraka had really underperformed in that last match.
And also interesting is that Dr. Mundo was actually one of the MVPs for the Noxian team in the last match, but he is absent from this one, and I think that has something to do with the combinations on the Ionian side. I think they probably may have traded off some of their own options to ensure that he would not be able to make it into this match.
There are many things afoot here. No doubt that the Journal of Justice will get to the bottom of each of these.
All right, so yeah, and interesting thing enough is the summoner known as Roku, who, if we can find him somewhere around here, he is... I actually don't see him anywhere. Is he not... Oh, he's not playing in this game. Or... Wow, I'm clearly just saying things completely wrong. I apologize. Never mind. I remember... Oh, there we go. Roku. There he is. I was looking at the wrong team entirely. I completely forgot the summoner's allegiances. I was like, I don't see him. Yes, Roku is playing Misfortune, and he's actually a summoner known for playing Dr. Mundo. He actually came up to me a few days earlier and expressed his interest in summoning Dr. Mundo for this match. Oh, Godsman Bob coming in from the behind, getting slowed down, but this is going to be very dangerous. Udyr is doing a ton of damage. There's the Enchanted Crystal Leo. Frost will get that kill. First blood. Frost has taken down Misfortune. Roku in a very bad way. Very good job by...
That has to be a rude awakening for Noxus, that Ionia is bluntly not playing around in this match. Ionia has so much at stake,
And Eclipse indeed yelling out for Ionia in all caps. He is certainly very enthusiastic about this game.
The high command is sweating bullets in Noxus right now over this particular match, and that cannot be a good start for the evening for that.
Yeah, so very, very good opening. This is actually what I talked about briefly earlier, where, again, Udyr is more of a conventional jungling choice for the Ionian side, and we saw when Cyan tried to gank, you can see it was very, very easy for Frost to escape that, for Ash to escape that with his summoner casting Flash. When Udyr showed up, Flash was not enough to stop that, as he just simply walked up and stunned him with Bear Stance again.
Flash has been a dominant... We've seen two instances in this match already where Flash has saved the day. In this particular case, it actually didn't save it. But Flash... which champions are currently using Flash in this? Do you happen to know?
So we can actually pull this up right here, and actually there's only a very few uses of it. So
interesting.
The Noxian team only has Roku and Poison Idol, which is Misfortune and Vladimir, the two sort of carry type champions who are very adept at dealing lots and lots of damage at once. And they're really the ones who need to survive to make this work well for them. So that's actually a very common choice. If you need to survive, you pick more defensive summoner spell options so that you as a summoner can save your champion from danger. However, the other team we see on the Ionian side, they're actually a little bit more apt to run that spell. We have, of course, again, the mage and physical carry as Kennen and Ashe are both running that spell, but also the Soraka is running Flash as well, who is really the main support champion for Ionia. But the really cool thing about that is she's also running Clairvoyance, so that the Ionian side can always look and find where their opponents are. Clairvoyance, a great summoner spell, which allows you to reveal an area on the map.
Interesting.
Because normally you look at this and you see that the Noxus does not have a lot of vision. They actually don't see any of the champions on the map right now.
Wow.
They have almost no idea what's going on. And a simple Clairvoyance, as Soraka has, would reveal those areas quite nicely. And we already see that lack of vision has allowed Udyr to walk up and almost quite handedly flank and almost gank that Vladimir, but Vladimir using Sanguine Pool to escape that gank, and Guardsman Bob choosing not to push his champion into that fight. Will survive for now. But he does have control of that lane. As we can see, these purple minions as they are spawning are simply not yielding any benefit to the Noxian team. They're not giving any experience in gold out, as no one is there to reap those rewards.
All the exchanges so far have not hurt the Ionians one bit. In fact, Ionia seems to have the momentum in this early match.
Yeah, absolutely. And we even see that Ionia, and I talked about Clairvoyance earlier, is actually doing a very good job of controlling the map in general. We can see that as far as wards are concerned, the Noxian team has dropped one single ward down in this brush, which can just barely spy into Dragon, but has no idea about any of the rest of these gank paths. So they have almost no vision of the entire map. Now, if we look at the entire map again, we can see that Ionia has placed wards over in one of the lower gank paths, directly in front of Dragon, inside the jungle, and even across the upper river as well. So the Ionians are very apt to not only gank better, as we saw earlier, but also are doing a very good job at revealing the entire map such that they are never surprised. And it seems that this is going to be a common advantage that will continue to push through the rest of this match, as the Ionians are going to be much better prepared for everything the Noxians throw at them, whereas the Noxians are going to be a little bit more surprised. We saw last time where there would be no reason for Misfortune to stand up there with Udyr directly behind her, and if she knew that, she would have already retreated, and that really resulted in that first kill.
Mm-hmm.
But a few things of note, though, is Udyr is coming back towards the top of the map. But now Vladimir does see that. He has a ward right there. We can see Vladimir already knows he's coming in. And there's the gank, and there's the Sanguine Pool. Let's see if he will chase. He will not. Vladimir will continue to run down past his turret, and he will be safe. But as I was saying, one of the interesting things going on is that the teams are allocating their resources a little bit differently. Now, there are two major monsters that spawn on each side of the map. The Golem, the Ancient Golem, and the Ancient Lizard. Or the Elder Lizard, I should say. And when they are killed, they confer a very large buff to the champion that slays it. A little bit of a fight at the bottom. Looks like both teams will be safe, though. Singe is very, very durable. It's very unlikely to see Singe die in a small fight.
True, very true.
So generally, Singe will be safe unless he makes a major mistake, which he may indeed, or get ganked or something. But Singe will generally be safe, as will Morgana. Both are very strong defensive options. Neither champion should die very easily. But what I was saying is Misfortune has been given the blessing of the Lizard Elder. Which allows all of his basic attacks to slow enemies and actually deal bonus damage when they hit. And so right now, anyone who tries to fight Misfortune 1 versus 1 will generally lose very, very handedly.
Just taking a look at the word on the wind here, in fact, there will be only one match. This is not a best of 3.
This is the best of one, and we can see that again, this is map awareness. They barely have vision of this camp down here, and there we go. There's the large team fight as the Lumi has perhaps built, but Roku will blast over the wall. Has already dropped his as well. Frost picking up that kill on Edwy, and here we go. This is Singe going to drop down. Singe is about to die. Will they kill Singe? And they're trying so hard, but he's still running around, not dying. And there's the Hemo Plague from Vladimir, trying to drop down as many Ionians as he can. Will he be able to kill Soraka? No, he's going to get silenced, and he will get dropped down. That mage unable to do anything while silenced. Soraka with a very clutch play has him in improve against Noxus, and does so, silencing Vladimir, one of the newest Noxian additions to the league, getting away with no health, and that was a triple kill for the Ionian-born Udyr.
Guardsman Bob scored a triple kill there. Ionia crushed in that exchange. Absolutely crushed. Noxus cannot be happy about this outcome.
That was hard. This is now 5 kills to 0. Every single one of the Noxian champions has died, and none of them have killed anything. I believe the Dragon kill also went to the Ionian team. Now, for those of you unaware with a lot of these neutral buffs on the map, the Dragon, when it dies, confers a large amount of gold and experience, not only to champions nearby. If you partake in killing the Dragon, you get some experience, but anyone on the map on that team will gain just globally golden experience as well, which will set your entire team up a very significant amount. You get about if you add the benefits together, it's about worth killing 2 champions. So if we count this purely in champion kills, it's as though it were 7-0, which is a very, very huge advantage. It's a very, very strong thing to have happen for your team.
I have to admit, in looking at this match so far, it really shows that Ionia has something to prove. Noxus really needs to just calm down, execute their game plan, and stabilize this map.
Absolutely. So, you know, their entire plan that they've been enacting from day one, or really, you know, minute one of this match, has been controlling the map, and that's shown in every situation we've seen so far. The very first situation where Sion's gank on Ashe did nothing. Then right after Udyr's gank on Misfortune was just perfect and got them the very first kill of the game, and even gave the kill to Frost's Ashe, which is just very, very powerful to give physical damage dealing champions those kills early on. Gold is so useful in these champions in these games. But then afterwards, we just saw so much ward control. We can see still that if we turn the fog of war back off, they have a ward that's now useless as Dragon has died, but they're only warding to just watch their lane. Bottom lane has a ward and top lane has a ward, but that's it. They see nothing else on the map at all. We scroll back out and we see there's wards more towards the middle for the Ionian team. They can see passageways into and out of the jungle, and they used to have just all of the river warded, and they actually had what some summoners call a counter ward, a ward that can see invisibility they had dropped earlier to actually kill off the wards that that Noxus had dropped to watch those areas. So they've been much more apt to try to control vision of the map, and that's been really, really paying off for them. That's really the one thing that's been giving them such great power this game.
Needless to say, there is so much at stake right now involved in this particular match. Of particular note, should Ionia win this match, the resolution, according to the League of Legends, will be that Ionia will have their 3 provinces freed from Noxian control, and they will be restored to the rightful ownership of Ionia. Should Noxus win, Noxus will have permanent ownership over the 3 territories, and in fact, Ionia must yield certain governmental rights to Noxus within the Ionian seat of government. So a lot is on the line here.
Oh, and there we go. They are now diving onto this Vladimir. I believe he's already using full. Guardsman Bob going to pick up another kill. He's now on a rampage. That is a 4-0 Udyr doing such great things. That is just phenomenal play. And actually, he's actually assisted or killed every single champion so far. Every single death that Noxus has suffered has been partially at the hands of Guardsman Bob. Guardsman Bob playing Udyr, and that is just, again, this is what I was talking about earlier, this powerful jungle that summoners commonly employ, whether they're limited by champion choices or not. It's proving so very powerful, whereas Edwie's Scion is not able to quite reach that same level of dominance.
Another interesting note about that, Guardsman Bob and Poison Iden are summoners who typically cooperate with each other. They actually participate in matches together. But they found themselves at irreconcilable differences about the state of affairs in Ionia, and now they are against each other.
Yes, indeed. So even longtime friends just partaking in this political debate and just choosing sides. And now Guardsman Bob is back, and he has jumped onto Edwie, and Edwie is being slowed by the Blessed of the Lower Elder. And there comes Eclipse into that fight as well. Not really necessary, trying to get a piece of that action, and actually stealing the kill away from Guardsman Bob.
Wow.
Which had to be intentional, but I think it's hilarious. That's dedication to yourself right there.
Perhaps the personal matches are in order, but I think they're going to have to take they're going to have to take some time to sort things out on their own for sure.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, this bottom lane, of course, both players still content to level their champions up and continue to just try to gain in power. They don't really feel confident roaming across the map and really causing things to happen. It's almost entirely been Guardsman Bob and Edwie, the summoners, who have been trying to instigate most of the action. Unfortunately for Edwie's Scion, Summoner Flash, specifically from Frost, has been just completely denying any of those combat attempts. And he's just gaining in power so steadily now. Has a lot of attack damage on that bow of his. Will be tossing out extremely powerful arrows, and that's just going to continue to cause significant troubles for the Noxian team. We can see a bit of a lull in the action now, as the players are sort of grouping back near those towers and trying to keep their resources alive, their map control somewhat dwindling now as the wards have timed out entirely for the Noxian team. Have finally put only one ward down right now, as they have very little vision of the map. Have finally dropped a new one right there, and that is a pink ward. That is a vision ward, which means that yes, they are going to attempt to wrest control of the dragon right now. This ward will see the other one, and Noxus will try to group up to take that advantage of vision over, and that is very, very smart for them. They have timed the respawn of this ancient dragon, and they will do what they can to equalize that score there. But this is looking so good for Ionia right now. There are players who are actually more apt to prepare for this. They're very nearby. They're ready for this fight. The exception actually now, Udir's actually fallen back. He's grabbed some items to try to make himself more powerful for the coming fight, and that is a lot of items. That is a very powerful Udir. But right now he's out of position for the next fight. If Noxus really went for this, they could actually force a 5v4 fight and possibly take over the dragon. But I don't believe they know this has happened, as again, they're ward control.
They may be rattled at this point.
Yeah, they're simply they're very afraid of their opponents right now. They know if they get into a fight short-handed, they could possibly lose in the game entirely. And so they're very afraid of what could happen. But you can see the Ionians just don't care. They're just going for it entirely. They know they're more powerful than the Noxians. They're just going for this dragon right away. Guardsman Bob should have some of this fight ready to help his Udyr take down this dragon. And you can see the Noxians just not yet ready to jump in here. And they're just grouping on the various sides. They pull the dragon out of range of any of this initiation. And there we go. They have taken the dragon down. This is still 0 dragons for Noxus. But Bren just by himself getting completely dropped down. No teammates helping him whatsoever. Just all from the back. I don't know why they didn't coordinate that better. But he was by himself getting himself
that
killed.
That may have been a costly blunder for Noxus in that case.
That was just silly, I have to admit. That was not well coordinated for the Noxian team. I think they've just become overconfident from the victory last time.
Perhaps. So they're rattled at the absolute maximum.
Oh, that was a nice dark binding. Let's see if they can pick this up. She's been healed. All right, Udyr has already been healed by Soraka. It looks like he will just escape that tower, as he has 246 armor with all the items and buffs combined. That is a very, very tanky man bear Phoenix Tiger. That is hard to say, by the way.
You did it quite well.
Thank you. And Turtle. And Turtle. I apologize for missing the Turtle out there. But the Man Bear right now going to take on this Golem, turning into a Man Phoenix, and doing what he can to give himself this blessing of the Ancient Golem for bonus experience and all of that. Now, one tower has finally slain. The first tower of the game, or turret I should say, has been slain. Eclipse playing Kennen, doing a very good job there, has taken down that turret. So that is now 2 dragons, 1 turret, and a whopping 8 champion kill advantage for Ionia. This is going so well for them. And now, a couple things to state, though, is Ashe is a very strong character, but is somewhat unsafe. Her movement speed is low, her range is high, but she has no strong way of escaping from battles. And she doesn't have a very consistent, strong support champion that can actually properly babysit her. Now, Soraka can heal Ashe consistently, and that is very powerful, but is not the kind of champion who can just instantly nullify 1,000 damage and push back all opponents. So Ashe can be killed no matter how powerful she is, can always be killed by the Noxian team if the positioning is ever incorrect. Meanwhile, Misfortune is a little bit safer, has more movement speed, has a little bit more range in some of her abilities, and that is very powerful.
We've seen that the jungle game has been dominated pretty heavily by Ionia in this match, and perhaps one of the causes of this is the absence of Warwick. Warwick being one of Noxus's high priority champions to have on their side, but unfortunately, if you've been keeping up with the Journal of Justice, Warwick just recently experienced quite an ordeal where he was actually kidnapped by a person who remains still at large at this time, and he was subjected to torture and some amount of mind-altering, I guess poisons or chemicals. It's unclear as to what it is. His good friend Singed was able to sort of free him from that, but he was definitely not in shape to participate in this match, and that may be hurting them pretty badly right now.
Also, on that subject, many summoners have asked why Urgot and Swain have not made their appearances for the Noxian team either.
Swain actually was recently promoted into the high command, and this is a rather momentous event for him, and he actually needed to be away from the fields of justice for a little while he secured some of the formalities and ceremonies. There are some rumors that there may be varying opinions in the high command about his participation in these things. Also, I mean, if we look back, right before the invasion of Ionia, he was the master tactician of Noxus, and he was pretty much flawless in his performance, but he was suddenly decommissioned right before the invasion took place, and was pretty much not heard from again until just recently when he joined the league. So quite a bit of speculation has been occurring about it. Looks like we've got some action.
Here we go, and Amumu is the center of attention for us, getting dropped down. The Morgana will fall. That is another kill for the Ionian team. They're now trying to chase down on Cyan. It looks like Cyan is in very bad shape, and he will drop down as well. That is now 10-0 the score for Ionia, and they are grouped up to push down to this bottom lane very, very powerfully. They have now walked across Vladimir. And this could be very scary for them, as Meteor is jumping all the way in, and they're going to drop down whom they can. And there is Friend in the middle of everything with his Singe, and that is a lot of damage. Amumu landing the bandage toss, and yes, Singe will go down. Vladimir is still standing alone, now without anyone else to help him. There's the Hemo Plague, and that is some damage output, but looks like the Ionians are still safe. And now Kennen has come across to help with that as well. And oh no, Vladimir has been taken down from behind by Frost and Eclipse. And now it's just Roku playing Misfortune, trying to hold alive. For the Ionians, this is a 7,000 armor Udyr refusing to take any damage.
Wow, it's definitely looking like a pretty one-sided match. I have to say this cannot be what Noxus was looking for at all.
It's certainly, well, at least for, I guess, for the sake of the match, it's taking longer than the previous one did. But Noxus is definitely, they have to step up their game. They have to respond, but it may be too late at this point.
So as we were saying, anyhow, yes, Swain was absent, and it could be in part due to the fact that he has obligations that he must fulfill as with his new political status. It could also be that there's some things cooking in Noxus which have prevented him from being here. As far as Urgot goes, Urgot was actually, unfortunately, he sustained some damage in a recent match and needed to be in for repairs. And so he is currently with Zon Technicians and also unavailable for this match. So a lot of Noxus's power players just being perhaps even suspiciously unavailable to participate.
So my question to you, Freak, is when do you think people will start going for Baron Nashor at this point?
I think
or is that even a necessity at this point with the domination that's been going on?
I don't know if it's a necessity. So Baron Nashor is a risk. If you go for it, you're convincing yourselves that your opponents will not find it or find your plans, and if they do, they will not be able to react to that in time or sufficiently. So if all of the Ionians are shown to be bottom, the Noxians can maybe go for Baron Nashor and give up a tower or two, but it's worth it. In this case, Ionia really has no reason to take down Baron Nashor. They've been winning every team fight consistently. They've been consistently controlling the Dragon as well. And again, we just see the entire Ionian lineup just prepared for Dragon immediately. The Noxians still trying to run across the map to group up to this. And oh no, Poison Idol has disconnected from the game. The Vladimir will be going back to the summoner platform. I have no idea what happened to him just now. And so hopefully the Ionians will not capitalize on this too hard. As much as they are winning, they shouldn't be capitalizing.
There's a problem with the summoning orb or something along those lines. We'll get to the bottom of it immediately.
Yeah, so in the meantime, the Ionians will just simply grab as many of these objectives around the map, these safe objectives, the Lizard Elder, the Ancient Golem, and powering up Frost's Ash, which is a very wise choice. Generally, these long-range physical carries are the right choices to empower during these games.
League officials are, as we speak, trying to find out what the situation with Poison Iden is right now and decide if action needs to be taken.
I saw Tom. We'll have a report on that. We'll have a report on it fairly soon.
Okay. And yes, we see the exact same thing happening here as Roku has been donated the Blessing of the Lizard Elder on the Noxian team. So both teams having the same sort of ideas. The Ancient Golem has respawned as well, so we'll see who on Nox will try to take that buff away for themselves. In the meantime, we just see a very, very powerful Ashe being played by Frost. These very high-profile items, Infinity Edge, Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, Elixir of Agility, red and blue buff. This is a very, very deadly champions. Our spies have incapacitated your summoners, says Poroku. Uh-oh. A little bit of misdealings potentially from the Ionians.
A lot of speculation going into this match that the champions selected for the Noxian team were quite a bit stronger than the champions available to the Ionian team, but pretty strong demonstration of the power of Ionia here in this match today.
You see all the summoners in the game now trading some lines back and forth. If you look down here, they've been
there's no
taunting
love.
each other.
There's no love between either of these teams.
Oh, never. We'll see. Yeah, we see Ionia not making any large reason to push.
I
A bit
would be surprised.
of honor between them, actually.
I would think that Ionia, especially with the axe to grind against having lost to Noxus last time, would press the advantage in the 5v4. But it seems like that they're just sort of casually taking their time. I wonder, maybe I can only imagine that. I can only imagine at this point that unless Noxus really gathers themselves and draws a line in the sand, tries to get back to their game plan, maybe they can pull something out. But it seems doubtful, especially with them being down one summoner currently for unknown reasons.
Yeah, I think I actually have an idea. So, I remember, 7 years ago was the last conflict, and the council had stated that it would be 15 years between but before Ionia could ask for a rematch in order to determine the fate of those lands, and here we are, only 7 years later.
Absolutely correct.
If my 7 years is correct.
No, I believe so. I believe so. The primary thing there, again, Noxus feeling supremely confident, wanting to make a public display of their generosity in the circumstance, agreed to the rematch early, provided that the conditions of being incorporated into the Ionian government were met. But this seems to have really backfired for Noxus.
Yeah, and I think the Ionian plan right now is to not give Noxus a reason to get a rematch too early. They feel very confident in this game that they feel like they will secure their lands away from Noxus, and they don't want to give Noxus a reason to appeal. To appeal the match. So they're playing it safe and saying, we know we're in the advantage. We don't want to give our lands a reason or an ability to be conquered again for the next decade and a half. And so they're playing it safe and hiding away.
If Noxus is unable to pull this out, this will be yet another huge disappointment for Noxus over the past few years. I mean, with the loss of their campaign against the Barbarians, which are now Freljord, with their stalemate against Demacia, with the eventual stalemate against Ionia, you have to think. Oh goodness, good. Poison Ion is reconnected.
Okay, good. So the Noxian summoners are all back in the game, and they have found that Ionia has warded Baron Nashor, and they have simply cleared the ward out and placed a couple of defensive wards around the map as well to try to keep track of this. There's the hawk shot from Ash, spotting that no, Noxus is not actually going for the kill on Baron just yet. They're simply trying to wrest map control away, which is a very smart choice. But Udyr
leading the pack.
Yes, has come across. Uh-oh, there's the ghost, and there's the Ash there on the Dark Binding. They will land on Scion in the back, but he will be running away. Can Udyr catch up? No, it looks like they're going to be okay with these shields. Will they be able to drop down? No, the rest of the team still looping around the sides, but Ash coming through the jungle.
To look at the fear, it's literally a 4v1 up, but now they've stopped and turn around.
Oh, this is very dangerous. There is Ken in the middle of everything, and they're still waiting for Amumu and Soraka to gain in. And yes, they have dropped down Morgana, and this is very, very dangerous. The Ionians are in very good shape right now. This Vladimir is alone, and Edwy has dropped down. That is 3 dead Noxians. Ionia still 5 strong. They're trying to jump down onto Sinch. Can they do this? He's leaving a poison trail behind him. That will hurt the rest of these Ionian champions, but no, they are still diving down into the face. Will Sinch drop down? They have exhausted Ash, and yes, there it is, a legendary Guardsman Bob, a legendary Udyr. This is...
Guardsman Bob literally chased four Noxians down the lane. Single-handedly chased them down the lane. Unbelievable.
Oh man, so you see the loss of Dr. Mundo leads to the rise of Udyr and how powerful that has been.
I find it interesting. Wow. I find it interesting too that Udyr has been dominating so hard. There are many sub-factions of Ionia, one of them being sort of primal champions who feel that going through the primal essence rather than just the equilibrium of balance is more important. So this may actually give the hawkish factions of Ionia more credence to the government.
Absolutely. It seems that Udyr is really carrying the weight of the rest of his 4 champions. And really, you can almost say that Ionia is bringing 8 champions, and as they have the man, bear, turtle, phoenix, tiger.
It's true, man, bear, turtle, phoenix.
And tiger.
Tiger, man, bear, turtle, phoenix, tiger. We'll get it right.
And 4 of the champions, and there we go. Finally, the very first kill. Neo Illusions has been dropped down, but Frost still coming in here, going to try to chase down Morgana, and so much damage output. Morgana being dropped down by Ash, and the silence onto Vladimir. A very good play by Soraka, silencing Vladimir so he could not escape, and they are now on to the Noxian Nexus. And I want to say that one 8 times fast. Noxian Nexus. That's actually...
there goes that inner tower, and now the Nexus is... Well, there's one more inner tower, but the Nexus is essentially open.
Yes, and this is very dangerous. Now, they're certainly very far into the opponent territory. Frost is out of mana. Of course, Eclipse playing Cannon just uses the energy system, so that's going to regenerate fairly quickly. But they're short-handed and they are low on mana. Spirit of Ionia, rid these Noxian heathens of our lands. Yes, the Summoners, of course, trying very hard to fight for their lands. And yes, the Noxian Nexus is now available. Frost in the middle of everything. Will he drop down a critical strike? Meteor will fall! This could be the turn of a comeback. Meteor has been dropped down. They're going to try to expel the Aurelians.
To Noxus's credit, they are still in this match. They need to. But it doesn't look good now. Now here comes the rest of them.
Ionia is pounding on this Nexus. Will the Nexus fall? Will Ionia push them back?
Goodness.
The Noxian Nexus is about to go down, and yes, Ionia will save their lands and push the Noxians back.
I can feel the anger all the way from Noxus over this outcome. Goodness.
Oh, wow.
A stunning victory for Ionia. Well deserved, well played, especially hands down. I don't want to take the thunder from you, but I certainly have a candidate for MVP. Who would you think the MVP candidate would be in this case?
I have to hand it to the 0-7 Singed. I think.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree. Well, certainly Ash deserves a big nod with 9-0 with 12 assists. Guardsman Bob just simply dominated that match. Absolutely dominated the match.
Special thanks, definitely to all the summoners who participated in this match. It was a fantastic effort by both sides. Would have been great to see Noxus have a bit more of a chance in there, getting on toward the end. But they put up quite a fight at the very last minute.
It felt like that Ionia got the early advantage and just pressed it. Like the first gank opportunity that Noxus had, they failed outright, and Ionia did not fail, and they just continued on.